When selling, a relationship mindset is vital. And Dale Carnegie tells us how to make friends with the people who buy. Sales is about making friends with the people who buy. And Dale Carnegie perhaps said it best with the title to his best-selling How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book is so well known that its title has almost become a cliche. We often use the expression, perhaps without even having read the book. Dale Carnegie came from Missouri and his parents were poor farmers. After college, he tried a number of careers, including acting, writing novels, and sales. And it was as a salesperson that he was extremely effective. But perhaps his greatest success started to come when he started to give night school classes for the New York YMCA in public speaking. Although the YMCA didn't pay him, they did allow him to keep a portion of the admission fees, and because his course became extremely popular, he started to do rather well. Around that time, he changed the spelling of his family name, Carnagey, to Carnegie, to identify himself with the totally unrelated but hugely successful business person, Andrew Carnegie. When his talks reached the height of their popularity, he even hired out Carnegie Hall in New York City. Carnegie's first book was a text about public speaking, but he shortly followed it in 1936 with the book that was to become his bestseller, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And in How to Win Friends and Influence People, Carnegie tells us how to do just that, and he does so in 4 parts. The book is so successful, it still remains one of Amazon's best-selling books. In the UK Amazon store, 85 years after publication, it is still in or around the top 500 best-selling books. In the book, the 4 parts give us 3 principles for handling people, 6 ways to make people like you, 12 principles for winning people over to your way of thinking, and 9 principles for how to be a leader. There is, of course, far too much to summarise here. So I'm going to focus on the most useful part for salespeople, and that is the 6 ways to get people to like you. First of these is to be genuinely interested in people. To anybody, the most interesting subject of all is themselves. So if you take an interest in them, you are not only flattering them, but enabling them to talk about the thing that they find most interesting in life. It's a fantastic way to build a relationship, and of course, for a salesperson, it also allows you to understand what's important to the person you're hoping to sell to. Second is smile. Smiling shows a warmth and a comfort and a confidence. And in any salesperson, those things are vital and important. A smile tells the other person that you're comfortable in their presence and you're enjoying being there. Nobody wants to buy from a salesperson who is either lacking in confidence or just doesn't want to be selling to them. Third, Carnegie tells us that a person's name is to them the sweetest sound. This, of course, has led to many abuses. In too many stores, staff are trained to use people's names as soon as they find them out, and then they overuse them. But the essence of this is to learn a person's name as soon as you hear it, to make an effort to remember it, and then to use it sporadically through the conversation. Peppering the conversation with their name shows them not only that you value them and their identity, but it also shows you care enough. And of course, hearing their name builds a stronger bond. Fourth, he says to be a good listener and to encourage people to talk about themselves. This has a huge overlap with the first principle to my mind. But the key here for me is the importance of listening. It's very difficult, particularly when you've got something on your mind like making a sale, to really focus on what the other person is saying. It is a craft, it is an art, it is a science to become a better listener. So practice it. And as you find your listening interrupted by other thoughts going on in your head, push them to one side, get them out of the way, remove those thoughts so that you can focus on what the other person is saying. When you do that, you will know what the next question to ask is, and that will unwrap everything that you need to know. Fifth, talk about the other person's interests. If you've been listening to them, you know what they're interested in, take an interest in them and talk about those topics, because those are safe ground. You know that they're interested in it and they're knowledgeable about it and they will enjoy talking about it. In the workplace context, when we are selling, then bring the conversation around to their workplace interests and concerns. Soak up all the information that they have to share with you. And finally, make the other person feel important. Sincerely. This is not about flattery. It's about sincerely valuing the other person and making them feel like you consider them to be the most important person in the room. And the secret of this is to be genuinely interested in them and to pay attention to what they're saying. Turn your whole body towards them and listen attentively to what they're saying. Don't allow yourself to look over their shoulder at someone else in the room. Keep eye contact with them. Focus on what they're saying. When they say something important, agree with them. Endorse it. Tell them that you understand and you share their concerns about the things that matter most to them. How to Win Friends and Influence People is an enduring classic for a reason. Not just because what it says is important, but because what it says is eternal. Human beings do not change from year to year. People in the 1930s and people today are just the same in all the ways that really matter. Carnegie's principles apply throughout time and across the world in all cultures. And that's why Dale Carnegie is such an important name in the world of sales, and why How to Win Friends and Influence People is such an important book for every manager, every salesperson, and every professional to read. Please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed it or learned from it. I'll be making loads more great management courses videos for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of them. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.